In this video, I'll give you some tips on how to do well in the online discussions and what some of my expectations are for your contribution to the discussion. Um, and this will roughly serve as a rubric for how the discussions will be graded too. So I'll give you some indication as to how I plan to grade. So to begin with, of course, you'll look to the left-hand side of the course page in Blackboard, and you'll see the discussions tab. Click on that, and you'll see the topic that's available for you to jump in. So the purpose, of course, is to have as interesting and dynamic discussion of the topic as we can have, and I'd like for us to keep these discussions running throughout the entire period that the particular forum is open for. So they'll usually be open for about 6 days or thereabouts. So when the topic opens, where do you start? Well, first, of course, think about the topic. You're going to know what topics are going to pop up before the discussion itself is actually open for your participation. So you can go to the discussion tab and you'll see all of the future topics. They'll be listed there. Give them some thought as you work through your course and as you work on your notebook and your journal as well. You could also think about these things. And then once the topic opens, go ahead and post. Submit your initial posts as soon as you can after the topic opens. So within, let's say, a day or two, go ahead and post your initial reaction. Please go ahead and read other students' posts, and where you can respond to them, please do. Make sure that you keep an eye on who's responding to your initial posts, and please do people the courtesy of acknowledging that you've read the response and that you're thinking about it, even if you don't have anything necessarily to say to them. I think it's always a good practice to respond. I'm going to evaluate the discussions based on the thoughtfulness and creativity of your submissions and your responses. The initial post should be between 75 and 150 words or thereabouts. If you go over, that's fine. Under that, I wonder, I'm not sure you'll do very well if you're under 75 words. What do I mean by thoughtfulness and creativity? Well, I certainly mean that you shouldn't be posting sort of robotic posts or robotic comments. So please don't post in a mechanical way. So simply saying, good point, Sally, or good point, Zaphod, I agree with what you said. That's not going to count as something that I can give you credit for. So please avoid just mechanical postings. Give things some thought before you launch into them. So that's what I mean by creativity. Thoughtfulness, it's always great to see people put some real thought into their responses. And I think you can recognize it when you see it, when someone has actually done some work, done some thinking. So as we go through this, I think that you'll all have something important to contribute, and I really hope that you'll work to help one another, so that you'll see this as a collaborative enterprise. And unlike most of the course, where there is a clear, correct answer at every point, um, in for example, the quizzes and exams and so on, and the problem sets, this is going to be a part of the course where there isn't going to be one right answer. There's going to be a lot of right answers. There's going to be quite a few wrong answers too. So not every answer is a good answer, but there's not a single correct sort of way to do well on these discussions. So I hope you'll try to develop arguments of your own and use this as a venue for developing arguments. And I'll follow along. I'll check in pretty much every day, unless I'm traveling or I'm sick or some family emergency or something like that. But please don't expect that I'm going to comment on everything that happens in the discussions. I won't. I'll jump in occasionally if I think things are going really well or really badly, and I'll comment then. So students often ask, how often should I be posting? Um, I think it's the kind of thing where if you're actively involved, you'll sort of lose track of how many times you posted, and it won't be a matter of counting posts. But I certainly want to see a minimum of 3 thoughtful contributions to each discussion topic. So if you have 3 good contributions, you should certainly expect to get a good grade, let's say a B for that topic. There are a lot of things I want you to avoid. Please, obviously, should go without saying. I want you to avoid disrespectful or abusive comments or responses to others. Maybe less obviously, I do not want to read the words "that's just my opinion" or "that is just my opinion." I don't think that that phrase has any place in our discussion. We'll be talking about just my opinion kinds of comments as we go forward in the course, but that's kind of a variant on what I'd call lazy relativism. And lazy relativism is a pathology. It's a pathological sort of position where you basically defer responsibility for your epistemic commitments. You're going to say something like, well, everyone's opinion is of equal value, or, well, that's just your opinion, etc., etc. That kind of thinking has no place in this course, and maybe I'll post something on lazy relativism soon, and so leave that alone. Don't bring that kind of value or that kind of, I suppose, devaluing of rational discussion into this class. For philosophy students, I certainly want philosophy students to not, I don't know, well, name drop is what I say here. Don't sort of use philosophy to bully your fellow students. When you say something like, you'd understand what I'm saying if you'd only read Hegel or Merleau-Ponty or Quine or Davidson. That kind of thing has absolutely no place here, and I want you to leave that out of this class. So no name dropping, no bullying with philosophy. Let's see. Yeah, it should also go without saying that I don't want you to be saying false things in the discussion section. Certainly, unsupported assertions are to be avoided. So if your argument rests on some factual claim in a very important way, then you'd better make sure that it's something that it is actually reasonable to believe, or that you have evidence to believe. Certainly, falsehoods and unsupported assertions need to be left out. Okay, so thanks. So get to work. The first discussion section opens shortly. Thanks, guys.